Welcome to my channel Starlight Sci-Fi Stories. Thanks for watching and please like and subscribe. For 15 long years, Princess Aerolith of the Zelari Empire had not taken a single step. Not one. Her legs lay still like forgotten branches, thin and cold, untouched by strength or life. She had crossed galaxies in her floating chair, spoken to leaders, witnessed wars, and signed peace contracts, yet she had never again felt the ground beneath her feet. And after so many years, even hope had begun to fade. Her people called her, the Silent Flower, a ruler who bloomed without moving. But she hated that name. She wanted to be more than a symbol. She wanted to walk again. She wanted to live again. And one day, she decided to take the risk that no one else would. She summoned a human. Evan Hale arrived at the gates of the Zelari royal palace with nothing but a small toolkit and a slightly confused expression. He wasn't sure why he had been called. No one from the Zelari Empire ever contacted humans directly. Humans were considered too primitive, too emotional, too unpredictable. But a private message had arrived on his communicator 2 days earlier. A royal request. Urgent. Secret. When the guards scanned him and checked his identity, he half expected them to turn him away. Instead, they led him into a palace of glowing crystals and silver pillars. Their armor reflected the cold blue light of the hallways as they walked. Evan felt every stare. He wasn't welcome here, but someone wanted him here. The doors of the royal chamber slid open, and Evan froze. The princess was not what he expected. Aerolith sat in a sleek, floating wheelchair shaped like a curved silver crescent. Her dark violet hair fell gently across her shoulders, and her eyes, bright silver, seemed to hold entire star systems inside them. She looked young, elegant, and calm, but the metal chair hummed with an old, damaged energy. "Human Evan Hale," she said softly. "Thank you for coming." Her voice was warm, but her body remained perfectly still from the waist down. For a moment, Evan forgot how to breathe. Evan bowed awkwardly. "Your Highness, I'm honored. But why me?" "Because," Aerolith said, "you see things others ignore." He blinked. This was not the answer he expected. Then she gestured to the chair. 15 years, Evan. 15 years since I have walked. My legs failed after an accident during a star cruise. Every doctor in my empire tried to cure me. They all failed. Evan nodded slowly. He'd heard rumors, stories of a princess in a chair. Some said it was a genetic defect. Others said it was a curse. And some doubted she even existed. Aerolith continued, "My people are highly advanced, yet even they cannot discover cause." She lowered her voice. "But I believe you can." "Me?" Evan asked quietly. "I'm just a human engineer. Humans repair what they love," she said. "Not what they are ordered to." That line hit Evan deeper than she intended. She pressed a small button, unlocking a panel on the side of her chair. "Look inside." Evan knelt beside the device and opened the panel. A wave of shock hit him instantly. "Your Highness, this isn't simple damage. This system has been tampered with." Aerolith didn't answer for a moment. Her eyes lowered. She already knew. Evan looked back at her. "Someone didn't want this chair working properly." "Yes," she whispered. "And that someone is still in this palace." The air grew heavy. The royal technicians led Evan to the palace laboratory, a giant hall filled with floating screens, robotic arms, and shelves packed with alien devices. Although the place looked advanced, Evan noticed something odd. Many machines were dusty, untouched. Some tools were missing. Others were disconnected, as if someone had rushed to hide evidence. But what bothered him most was the symbol burned into a pile of metal scraps in the corner. A strange crest, 3 sharp lines forming a triangle. Evan pointed at it. "What's that?" The technician stiffened. "It is nothing. Just old trash." "No," Evan said firmly. "That's a brand mark." Aerolith's voice suddenly echoed from behind him. "It belongs to the High Council." Evan turned. She had followed him, her chair hovering quietly. "The High Council controls every part of our empire," she said. "Including the royal medical teams." Evan understood instantly. "So if they didn't want you healed, no doctor would dare fix you." Aerolith's fingers tightened around the armrest of her chair. "You see why I asked for someone from outside my world." Evan swallowed hard. "Your Highness, someone sabotaged your mobility systems. The nerve connectors were shut down on purpose." Her eyes glistened. "Can you fix me?" Evan looked at the broken wires, the corrupted circuits, the deliberate damage. "Yes," he said, "but not by repairing this chair." He stepped back and took a breath. "I'll build you new legs." Silence filled the lab. Aerolith blinked twice, as if she thought she had misheard him. "New legs?" "Robotic legs," Evan explained. "Strong ones. Ones that will let you walk again." The princess didn't smile. Not yet. She looked at him with a mixture of caution and desperate hope. "Evan, no one has ever succeeded. Then let me be the first." Over the next few days, the lab lights never went out. Evan worked from morning to night, shaping metal frames, adjusting the neural interface, and testing movement algorithms. Princess Aerolith visited often, quietly watching him with curious eyes. Met times she asked questions. Other times she simply observed in silence. She admired his patience, his focus, his refusal to accept defeat. Humans, she realized, were strange. Stubborn, passionate, brave, everything the High Council feared. One evening, while Evan welded a piece of exo-bone alloy, Aerolith spoke softly. "Evan, may I ask something personal?" "Sure," he said, still working. "Why do you help someone you barely know?" He paused, lowering his tool. He thought for a moment before answering. "Because being broken doesn't mean being finished. And because no one deserves to be trapped." Aerolith looked away, touched by his sincerity. But before she could respond, the lights flickered. Evan frowned. "That's strange." The power grid was stable. Aerolith's chair hummed nervously. "Someone is tampering with the energy lines." Without warning, the lab door sealed shut with a loud metallic slam. The temperature dropped. A shadow moved behind the equipment shelves. Evan stepped forward. "Who's there?" The answer came not with words, but with the sudden spark of an explosive charge thrown across the room. "Get back!" Evan shouted. He grabbed Aerolith's chair and pushed her behind a large metal bench just as the charge exploded, showering the lab in shards of glass and smoke. The shadow ran. Guards rushed in seconds later, shouting and scanning the area. Aerolith was furious. How did an intruder enter the royal lab? One guard bowed nervously. "Your Highness, according to the logs, the attacker had clearance." Aerolith's heart froze. Someone from the palace staff. Someone with authority. Someone who did not want her to walk. Her hands shook, but her voice remained strong. "Evan, you must continue. No matter what." He nodded. "I will." She gave him a small, brave smile. "Good." But Evan's work grew more dangerous by the hour. The explosion had destroyed half of his tools. Some materials were missing. Someone wanted to stop the project, and they were becoming desperate. Still, Evan pushed on. He rebuilt the missing parts. He reprogrammed the interface. He redesigned the connectors. Finally, after 7 more days, the prototypes were complete. 2 sleek, silver robotic legs with soft blue lights and advanced stabilizers. They looked beautiful, powerful, full of potential. Aerolith stared at them as if they were pieces of a dream. "Are those really for me?" she whispered. "They're only a prototype," Evan said. "But once we test them on you," he didn't get to finish. The lab doors burst open. Zelari guards stormed into the room, weapons raised. "Human Evan Hale," one of them announced, "you are under arrest for illegal construction of forbidden technology." Evan's eyes widened. "What?" Aerolith gave permission. "Silence." The guard barked. "You have violated High Council law." Aerolith's voice cut sharply through the room. "I ordered him to build them. If there is a crime, it is mine." But the guards ignored her. 2 of them seized Evan, grabbing his arms roughly. Aerolith tried to move her chair forward, but it was too slow. "Let him go. He is under my protection." The guard captain faced her coldly. "Forgive us, princess, but you no longer have the authority to protect anyone." Evan struggled as they dragged him away. "Aerolith, don't let them." "Evan," she shouted, reaching out as he disappeared through the doors. The lab doors slammed shut. The princess was left alone in the flickering light, staring at the robotic legs that sparked with the promise of a future she might never reach. Her hands trembled. Her voice broke. They took him. They took her last hope. And she knew that if she did not act soon, they would take his life next. The moment Evan was taken, the palace felt colder than ever. Princess Aerolith sat alone in the silent lab, staring at the robotic legs on the table. Their soft blue lights flickered, as if waiting for her. Waiting for someone who was no longer there. Evan had been arrested because of her. Aerolith closed her eyes. Her people saw her as calm and gentle, but inside she felt nothing like a flower. She felt like a storm trapped behind glass. She had been patient for 15 years, But now the High Council had crossed a line. They took her freedom, but they would not take Evan. Not while she still had breath. The palace guards moved Evan down a long, dim hallway. His hands were bound in glowing cuffs. His feet dragged across the metal floor as they pushed him forward. "Where are you taking me?" he demanded. "To the detention wing," one guard replied. "You will be judged by the High Council. Engineering forbidden devices is punishable by removal from the Empire." "Removal?" Evan repeated. "What does that even mean?" "You will be sent through the outer gate," the guard said with no emotion. Evan froze. The outer gate led to deep space, dark, empty, endless. A slow death. He swallowed hard. "You can't do that. The princess ordered the project." "That is no longer relevant," the guard answered. "A weak princess has no authority." Evan's jaw clenched. "She's not weak." "Maybe," the guard whispered. "But the council needs her to stay that way." Before Evan could answer, the door to the detention block opened. The room inside was cold, metallic, and silent. They shoved him inside and locked the door. Evan sat on the ground, breathing hard. The cuffs glowed brighter, tightening. He had come to help someone walk again, not to die in a cell. But if he gave up, everything he worked for, all his hope for Aerolith, would disappear. He couldn't let the council win. He looked at the wall and whispered, "Aerolith, please be safe." What he didn't know was that she was already coming for him. Back in the lab, Aerolith wiped her tears and opened the hidden controls of her chair. The Zelari engineers had forgotten something about her floating device. It was a royal model, and she had access to secret commands no one else knew about. She tapped 3 buttons on the side panel. The chair made a soft chime. "Override. Royal pathway," she whispered. The chair glowed, and a hidden map appeared on the holographic screen. A map of the palace, every guard, every locked door, every sealed area. The detention block was marked in red. She took a deep breath and turned the chair toward the door. "Evan," she whispered, "hold on." The doors hissed open, and Aerolith sped into the hallway. 2 guards saw her and stepped forward. "Princess, you are not allowed in this wing." The princess didn't stop. Her chair surged forward with sudden speed, and she crashed into them with a loud crack. The guards stumbled, shocked, and she sped past before they recovered. Her wheel lights burned bright blue as she navigated the halls with precision and determination. For 15 years, she had been slow and gentle. Tonight she was unstoppable. At the detention block door, she pressed her hand on the scanner. "Access denied," the voice said. She narrowed her eyes. "Override code. Aerolith 47. The scanner beeped. "Access granted." The door opened. Inside, Evan lifted his head when he heard metallic footsteps. "Aerolith?" he whispered. She rolled into the cell. "We don't have time." Evan exhaled in shock. "How did you get here?" "The guards," she raised her chin. "They underestimated me. They always have." "Not anymore." She extended her hand. "Give me your cuffs." Evan moved closer, and she tapped a small tool hidden in her chair. The cuffs unlocked with a spark and fell to the ground. Evan rubbed his wrists. "Thank you. But the council, they will come soon," Aerolith said. "We must act now." Evan looked at her wheelchair. "Aerolith, the legs are ready. But we need tools to finish the final adjustments." "I have them," she said and opened a compartment at the back of her chair. Inside were tools, wires, and a small power core. Evan stared. "You planned this?" She nodded. "I am tired of being controlled." For the first time, Evan saw something in her eyes he had never seen before. Strength, confidence, fire. "Let's finish this," he said. They returned to the lab. Alarms were starting to echo faintly across the palace. They were running out of time. Evan set the robotic legs on the testing table. Aerolith moved beside him. "How long will it take?" she asked. "Not long," Evan said. "Just hold still." Aerolith took a deep breath as Evan removed the lower part of her chair's support frame. Her useless legs hung quietly. He gently attached the neural connectors to her lower spine, careful not to hurt her. The robotic legs clicked into place with a smooth metallic sound. "You'll feel something strange," Evan said. "Don't panic." Aerolith nodded. "I trust you." He activated the power core. Electric light rushed through the robotic legs. The mechanisms hummed, adjusting to her weight. The neural interface blinked, scanning her nerve signals. "Okay," Evan said softly. "Try to move your right foot." Aerolith closed her eyes. For 15 years, her legs had been silent. For 15 years, she had dreamed of feeling something, anything. She breathed in, and then, her right foot moved. Just a small twitch. Just a simple motion. But to her, it felt like touching sunlight. Her eyes filled with tears. I felt that. Evan's voice was gentle. Try standing. Aerolith gripped the edge of the table. The robotic legs straightened slowly, lifting her body higher, higher. Until, for the first time in 15 years, Princess Aerolith stood. Evan stared at her, stunned. You're standing. Aerolith laughed through tears. Evan, I'm standing. Her hands shook as she reached toward him. Evan stepped closer, steadying her. She took a step, one step, then another. Each step echoed across the lab like thunder. But the moment was cut short. The lab doors burst open. A group of palace guards and high council members stormed in. The council leader stepped forward, his face cold. What have you done, princess? You dare violate our orders? Aerolith stood tall, her new legs glowing with blue light. She looked nothing like the fragile princess they once knew. I do not need your permission, she said. The council leader's expression twisted. You are a symbol, not a ruler. You were meant to remain still, quiet, obedient. Aerolith walked toward him. Her steps were firm and loud. I was meant to lead, she said. Not sit while others control my fate. The guards raised their weapons. The leader shouted, seize them. Instantly, Evan activated a small control device he had hidden earlier. The lab's defense shields flickered on, creating a barrier between them and the guards. Aerolith lifted her chin. Her new legs adjusted into a combat stance. The guards rushed forward. Aerolith moved faster. The robotic legs boosted her speed. She dodged a guard's strike, twisted, and kicked him back with a burst of power. Another guard swung his baton, but she jumped, actually jumped, and landed behind him, knocking him down. Evan controlled the barriers, locking doors and disabling weapons. Aerolith fought like someone who had waited years to move. Her motion was graceful yet fierce. The robotic legs responded perfectly, balancing her weight and boosting her strength. Within minutes, half the guards were down, and the rest backed away. The council leader trembled. Why, you were never meant to walk again? Aerolith stepped forward slowly. And you were never meant to rule through fear. The leader tried to run, but Aerolith moved faster. She pinned him with a single step. This ends today, she said. Your control ends. Your lies end. Your cruelty ends. The guards dropped their weapons. The council stood frozen. Princess Aerolith had risen. The next morning, the palace halls were filled with whispers. Every citizen watched in awe as Princess Aerolith walked out to address the empire. She wore a silver dress that matched her robotic legs, and every step she took felt like history rewriting itself. My people, she said in a clear voice, for many years you saw me as weak. But weakness was forced upon me. Today, I choose my own path. She looked at Evan standing beside her. A human gave me strength when my own people refused. And I will never forget that. The crowd cheered. Aerolith smiled. From this day forward, the Zelari Empire will stand with humanity, not above it. And we will rise, together. Evan looked at her proudly. She squeezed his hand. You helped me walk. Now help me build a better future. He nodded. Always. Aerolith looked out at her people, her new legs shining beneath the sun. For the first time in 15 years, she walked forward. And this time, no one could stop her. The end.